Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine walking onto this huge Colorado ranch. You're there for an interview. Eh,
Expecting something professional.
totally. And instead, the owner thinks you're the temp cook who just showed up.
Hmm.
That's pretty much Chloe Burton's, let's say, interesting introduction to Ramsey Westmoreland in Brenda Jackson's Hot Westmoreland Nights.
It's definitely memorable.
Now, look, it is a romance novel, we know that. But for our deep dive today, for you, the learner, it's actually a really great way to look at how those first moments,
Oh, yeah.
how our assumptions, what we want to happen, can just completely set the scene for, well, all sorts of unexpected stuff.
Absolutely. It's all about those initial impressions and misinterpretations.
Exactly. So our mission here is to really dig into Chloe and Ramsey's first impressions of each other. We'll look at the misunderstandings, why they happen, and sort of why they actually matter.
And we're pulling this straight from the book.
Right.
Focusing on their words, their thoughts.
Yep, excerpts focusing on dialogue and those descriptions that tell us what's really going on in their heads.
Okay, so starting with Chloe,
Mm-hmm.
what hits you right away
Yeah.
is just how different her plan is from what actually happens.
Right.
She's got this clear goal.
Mm-hmm.
Get Ramsey Westmoreland on the cover of Simply Irresistible magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And she has this image from Lucia,
Mm.
private guy, rich sheep rancher out in Colorado.
Okay.
But the second she actually sees him, bam,
Mm-hmm.
it's this physical thing.
Yeah, the book mentions his eyes, his skin, his lips.
Totally. It's intense and kind of catches her off guard.
Because she wasn't looking for that, was she?
Not at all. The source tells us she just got out of a bad relationship, prefers books to dating.
Hmm.
So this instant attraction is like, whoa,
It's a real pivot point for her then.
definitely.
That irony is just fantastic, isn't it? She's consciously trying not to get involved, and then suddenly she's hit with this. But it's not just, oh, he's hot. It connects straight back to her job, her goal.
Right. The book talks about her dad, that never give up attitude he instilled in her.
Ah, okay. So she sees him, feels the attraction, but also sees the cover model.
Exactly. Even though Lucia warned her he's private, probably won't agree.
He becomes the challenge.
Yeah, like the attraction fuels her professional drive. He's not just handsome. He's this puzzle she needs to solve, Get him for the magazine.
And Lucia's input adds that extra layer, warning Chloe how unlikely it is.
Mm-hmm. She knows the family, the younger ones anyway, and basically says, Ramsey, public exposure, not going to happen.
She even points out his wealth means he can't just be bought off.
Right, a big hurdle for Chloe. Suggests their usual tactics might not work. Lucia even says, hey, what about the other Westmoreland guys? They're good looking too.
But Chloe's like, nope, him.
He's the one I want. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really shows you how determined she is. Willing to kind of push boundaries to get her way. Makes you wonder about that ambition.
Okay, let's flip it. Let's put ourselves in Ramsey's shoes. His first look at Chloe.
Yeah, magazine cover model is definitely not his first thought.
Not even close. He's right in the middle of shearing season. Huge deal, tons of pressure.
And his cook, Nellie, is gone. He needs to feed the crew, like yesterday.
So Chloe walks in, and his reaction is, well, pretty direct.
Yeah, she looked more like a model than a damn cook. That's pretty much it.
And this mismatch, it hits him physically too, right? An unwanted arousal, the book calls it.
Mm-hmm. Which, given he desperately needs someone in the kitchen, is probably the last thing he wants to feel.
It does make you think, doesn't it? How often our gut physical reactions clash with what we actually need in the moment?
Totally. His brain is all logistics.
Mhm.
Feeding the team, time's ticking.
So he's curt, focused on punctuality.
Yeah, he just assumes, completely assumes, she's from the temp agency, sent to replace Nellie.
No time for pleasantries, just needs her to start cooking.
And that intense focus, driven by the sharing chaos, is really the seed of the whole misunderstanding. Shows how our priorities can just color everything.
And this is where it gets really juicy for us, the learner. The misunderstanding starts to, well, unfold.
Right. Chloe gets it pretty quick. He thinks she's the cook.
Now, here's where her personality clicks in. She could correct him, right? Explain who she is.
That'd be the straightforward thing.
But he rushes off before she gets the chance.
Yeah, he's in a hurry.
And then this little light bulb goes off in her head. What if she doesn't correct it? Not right away.
Ooh, okay.
What if she uses this? This mistaken identity gives her a reason to be there, on the ranch.
A way in.
Exactly. A way to get closer, observe him, figure out how to get him on that cover. It's definitely a calculated risk she's considering.
That move right there says a lot about her. She's adaptable, sees an opportunity where someone else might just see an awkward mistake,
Uh-huh.
And then she starts checking out his house, notices it's new, the view, the porch. It's like she's already planning her next steps.
Thinking beyond just the photo, she's embedding herself in his world, even if it's based on a lie.
Yeah, it raises that question, when do the ends justify the means? Can you use deception to get what you want?
And we also see just how much Ramsey hates the idea of publicity when his sister Bailey brings it up.
Oh yeah, Bailey. Sounds like she enjoys stirring the pot a little.
Seems like it. She teases him about the magazine, and Ramsey shuts it down. Hard.
No public exposure. Not for him, not for the family. He even mentions past trouble caused by Bailey and the others.
Right. Which totally backs up what Lucia said about him being private. It shows Chloe what she's really up against.
It's a massive obstacle. And his main focus stays laser sharp. Shearing season, need a cook. That's it.
Makes you wonder about those past experiences, doesn't it? What happened to make him so anti-publicity?
That conversation with Bailey, it gives us a peek into the Westmoreland dynamics too. Close family, clearly. Maybe a bit too much drama in the past.
Could be. Ramsey seems protective, wary of anything that might bring the spotlight back on them.
And that deep-seated need for privacy, plus the urgency of shearing it, completely explains why he just accepts his first assumption about Chloe, without question. He literally doesn't have the bandwidth to think otherwise.
Okay, so after all this initial chaos, the mistaken identity, the instant reactions, what's Chloe thinking about Ramsey as a person?
Well, she's watching him, right? Picking up clues from how he talks, how he deals with Bailey.
And his job, being a sheep rancher, that catches her interest.
Yeah, it intrigues her. It's so different from her world, the whole magazine scene. She's wondering, what makes this guy tick? What's his life really like?
What would it take to get him to loosen up a bit?
Exactly. That part's interesting. It suggests she's looking beyond just the cover shot potential, maybe starting to get genuinely curious about the man himself.
So she's not just seeing this grumpy guy who needs a cook.
No, she's seeing the layers, his protectiveness, the pressure he's under, and that curiosity about his world, his intensity. It might even make him more appealing to someone like her, someone so determined.
Okay, let's boil this down. For you, the learner, what are the big takeaways from this first encounter?
Well, first, just how powerful first impressions are and how easily misunderstandings sprout up even when you're face to face.
Assumptions can really take you down the wrong road fast.
Definitely. And then there's Chloe, her drive, her determination.
And her willingness to use, let's say, creative tactics, maybe slightly deceptive ones.
Yeah, unconventional for sure, to reach her goal.
What else stood out?
Ramsey's reaction to her, that immediate physical thing.
Right, even though he thinks she's the cook and he's annoyed by the distraction.
It hints there's some kind of underlying spark there, separate from the whole mix-up. A connection may be deeper than just a mistake.
Good point. And we get that little glimpse of the Westmoreland family, thanks to Lucia and Bailey.
Yeah, it sounds like a close bunch, maybe a bit involved. You can bet they'll probably factor into things later.
And finally, the timing. Chloe showing up right when Ramsey desperately needs a cook for shearing season. It puts her right in the center of his world, even if it's under false pretenses.
This whole setup, the mistaken identity, the attraction, Chloe's secret plan, Ramsey's personality, his family waiting in the wings, it's pretty combustible.
Yeah, fertile ground for conflict, but maybe also for something, real to develop.
Could be.
So here's something for you, the learner, to think about. How often in your own life have first assumptions, yours or someone else's, really steered how things went?
Good question.
What can we maybe take away from Chloe's proactive, if tricky, approach and Ramsey's immediate but mistaken reactions?
It definitely makes you think about how we navigate those first encounters.
Yeah. This very unusual start to their story. It promises some twists, doesn't it? With Chloe's hidden agenda and that undeniable spark Ramsey felt.
You just know it's not going to be straightforward.
Exactly. It really just highlights how complex people are and how many layers of assumptions and filters we bring to those first meetings. It's rarely simple.